During the Cold War, Olympic boycotts and propaganda teams were weapons of choice. That playbook hasn't changed. In 2018, Kim Jong-un deployed 229 cheerleaders to Pyeongchang, all selected for loyalty, all monitored by security agents. Their captain, an elite dancer from the Unhasu Orchestra, was the daughter of a regime insider. Her mission proved South Korean poverty. Instead, she saw 24-hour convenience stores and uncensored television. That knowledge got her husband killed and forced her to cross the Tumen River under automatic weapons fire. From Pyongyang's elite to political refugee, this is the price of truth behind the smiling propaganda facade. Bridge the gap between Cold War history and today's reality. Subscribe for insider perspectives from the last divided nation. It all began beneath Pyongyang's glittering lights. I'm Park Sun-hee, born to a vice minister of the Ministry of People's Security. We lived in a luxury apartment in Moranbong district. Our living room window overlooked the Daedong River. On clear days, the red glow of the Yuche Tower sparkled in the distance. As you know, simply living in Pyongyang was a privilege in the north. For families like ours, cadre families even more so. Mother taught at Pyongyang Music University. Father held a high position in the Ministry of People's Security. My older brother served as a colonel in the Korean People's Army. I'd studied dance since childhood. At age 5, I began private lessons with a teacher from the Mansudae art troupe. Later, I attended Pyongyang University of Arts, majoring in dance. While ordinary citizens barely scraped by on rations, our family table always featured white rice and meat dishes. During holidays, Mother's homemade kimchi and tofu dishes filled our table completely. In 2015, at 29, I joined the Unhasu Orchestra as a dancer. The Unhasu Orchestra was one of North Korea's most prestigious art groups. The supreme leader himself attended several performances. Each time my heart pounded. Those were the days when I felt genuine pride dancing for my country. That winter, I married Lee Kang-min. He worked in the party's propaganda and agitation department. My husband was sincere and warm. Thanks to Father's position, we secured a newlywed apartment in Moranbong district. Think of it like a Gangnam apartment in Seoul. Heating worked well even in winter. Power outages were rare. While ordinary citizens struggled to find coal briquettes, we never worried about such things. In early 2018, the greatest honor of my life arrived. I was selected as captain of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics cheerleading squad. The party instructed us, show our republic's superiority to our South Korean compatriots. For months before departure, we received special education. South Korea is a U.S. colony. Starving people overflow the streets. We must go and demonstrate our desire for unification. We heard these messages repeatedly. Back then, I never doubted the system. I had no reason to doubt. I lived inside Pyongyang's glittering lights, inside the castle of privilege. But I didn't know then what world lay beyond those castle walls, or how that world would transform my life. In February 2018, our cheerleading squad of 229 members boarded a charter flight to South Korea. Something felt strange the moment we landed at Incheon Airport. The airport was too bright, too clean. It seemed several times larger than our Sunan Airport in Pyongyang. People dressed differently, too. Everyone wore various styles of clothing. Smiles filled their faces. On the bus to Pyeongchang, I stared out the window. I couldn't close my mouth. Endless lights stretched along both sides of the highway. Streets stayed bright despite the darkness. Parking lots overflowed with cars. We learned South Korea was starving. But what is this? The thought circled my mind, but I couldn't speak it aloud. Security agents who came with us monitored our every move. The shock of entering a convenience store near our accommodation? I can't forget it. The fact that it stayed open 24 hours seemed miraculous. But seeing the items packed densely on shelves made me doubt my eyes. Snacks, drinks, bread, cup noodles, things we could barely eat during holidays just sat there. Price tags showed 1,001, 2,001. Practically nothing in our money. Is this really South Korea? Were we taught lies? Doubt began creeping in. Days later, we cheered at the Olympic Stadium. We held "We Are One" signs and sang support songs. But South Koreans' reactions differed from expectations. Some waved and welcomed us. Others held signs saying, "Kim Jong-un out." What shocked me more, police didn't arrest them. In the north, criticizing the supreme leader meant immediate political prison camp. Back at our accommodation, I secretly turned on the television. Dozens of channels appeared as I flipped through them. News programs criticized the president. Variety shows featured people laughing and chatting freely. A drama showed a Chaebol family's son falling for a poor girl. Content unimaginable in the north. Different social classes couldn't date or marry. That was our reality. One night, a squad member whispered to me, "Captain, I think what we learned was lies." I covered her mouth. "Be careful. Security is listening." But inside, I thought the same thing. The night before returning home, sleep wouldn't come. Why are people here so free? Why can't we live like that? The questions wouldn't leave my head. I didn't know then that this brief South Korean visit would become my life's turning point, or that these questions would eventually lead me down the path of defection. As the plane headed toward Pyongyang, I gazed out the window. Will I ever fly these skies again? As a free person? Back then, it seemed like an impossible dream. Returning to Pyongyang changed my life completely. The day after arrival, our cheerleading squad faced mandatory ideological education. Everything you saw in South Korea was false propaganda. Don't get tainted by capitalist corruption. We heard these messages multiple times daily. But the doubts in my heart only grew larger. Then a woman named Choi Hee-sung approached me. She was deputy director of the party's propaganda department, a sharp woman in her mid-40s. "You looked at South Korean things with too much envy in Pyeongchang," she accused me. It wasn't true. She simply envied that I'd been chosen as captain, while her daughter made the squad only as a regular member. Choi Hye-sung began monitoring my every move. Not just me, my husband Kang Min became a target too. "Your wife got contaminated in South Korea, yet you didn't report it?" She put my husband through criticism sessions. Our couple grew increasingly anxious. One day in 2019, my husband came home from work. His face was pale. "Honey, we need to be careful. Deputy Director Choi keeps finding fault." That night, my husband squeezed my hand tight. "I'm not struggling because of you. This system is wrong." Hearing your Pyeongchang stories made me think a lot too. That summer, a call came from my husband's workplace. "Your husband collapsed in his office." I rushed to the hospital. My husband had already stopped breathing. The doctor said heart attack, but I couldn't believe it. A healthy 35-year-old man suddenly dying of heart attack? Looking at the body, his lips had turned black, a symptom of poison. At the funeral, Choi Hye-sung arrived with a wreath. "Such a shame, comrade." Her eyes held no sympathy, only a cold warning, a silent threat. "Watch your mouth." That moment, realization struck. The system killed my husband. They eliminated us because he might speak the truth he saw in Pyeongchang. After losing my husband, I cried every night. Mother came to my room nightly, rubbing my back. "Mom, Kangmin died so unjustly. He did nothing wrong." Mother shed tears silently. Her generation must have experienced similar things. How many people died unjustly after the Korean War? 2020 that winter was exceptionally cold. Heating barely worked. Finding coal became difficult. Father's power wasn't what it used to be. Choi Hye-sung kept filing reports to higher-ups. Vice Minister Park's daughter got contaminated in South Korea, and her son-in-law had impure ideology. One day, I discovered a diary while organizing my husband's belongings. It said, "Sun Hee gradually told me what she saw in Pyeongchang, how free South Koreans are, how abundant their material goods. What we learned was false, but we can't tell this truth to anyone. The moment we speak, we're finished." I clutched the diary to my chest and wept aloud. "Kangmin, I'm sorry. If I hadn't gone to Pyeongchang, if you hadn't learned the truth, you'd still be alive." That night I made a decision. Someday I'd escape this hell. I wouldn't let my husband's death be meaningless. Even after my husband's death, I had to continue working as an Unhasu orchestra dancer, partly for survival, but the party wanted me to keep performing. Transform grief into art. I heard this absurd instruction as I took the stage. In early 2021, I participated in a special performance celebrating the Supreme Leader's birthday. The show took place at the Pyongyang People's Palace of Culture, an opportunity ordinary citizens couldn't dream of. Entering the rehearsal hall, I doubted my eyes. The dressing room overflowed with fruits imported from abroad. Apples, pears, grapes, plus bananas, oranges, mangoes rarely seen in the north. Officials drank French wine and Scottish whiskey. The next room displayed Japanese electronics everywhere. Sony televisions, Canon cameras. Despite sanctions, the privileged class freely used such items. You know what ordinary citizens faced. Then, countless people couldn't eat even one proper meal daily. At the Jangmadang, our version of traditional markets, 1 kilogram of rice cost over $5,000, won in North Korean currency. A worker's monthly salary was 3,000 won. People boiled grass roots and tree bark to eat. Yet party officials feasted on pine mushrooms and premium Korean beef. On performance day, I saw the Supreme Leader's family up close. His wife carried a Dior handbag. His daughter wore a Swiss watch, items worth tens of millions of won each. They shouted, "For the people," while living in such luxury. After the performance came a banquet. The table displayed all manner of rare foods: yellow corvina, king crab, abalone, tuna sashimi flown in from Japan. As I picked up chopsticks, a thought struck. People on Pyongyang's outskirts are starving to death, yet we're eating this. More shocking was the officials' conversation. Business isn't going well lately, one party official complained. Chinese brokers are taking too much margin. Turns out he ran a smuggling operation. He'd sneak in sanctioned goods and sell them for profit. Another official said, "These days you need to accept Bitcoin for safety." That moment, realization hit. This country operated on a thoroughly dual structure. Above, they shouted, "Socialism for the people." In reality, it was no different from the Joseon dynasty divided between Yangban and commoners. No, worse than the Joseon dynasty. Even Joseon Yangban didn't feast like this while peasants starved to death. On the way home, I saw homeless people on the streets. Children called kotjebi, kids who lost their parents and wandered the streets. One child rummaged through a trash can. I pulled bread from my bag and gave it to him. The child took the bread and backed away, fleeing. Eyes that couldn't trust people starved too long. That night, sleep wouldn't come. I'm an accomplice too, feasting up there while ignoring starving people. Guilt washed over me. South Korea's abundant image from Pyeongchang kept overlapping in my mind. There, even poor people could buy food at convenience stores. From then on, I prayed every night. Please let me escape this hell someday, and let me tell the truth to those remaining in the north. Defection was no longer a choice. It had become necessary. In spring 2023, even my father faced investigation. Choi Hye-sung kept filing reports to superiors. Vice Minister Park Cheol-soo's family is ideologically impure. His daughter got contaminated in South Korea. Her son-in-law died under suspicious circumstances. Father faced the threat of being stripped of his position. One night, father called me over. "Son-hee, now our family's end is in sight." Deep wrinkles lined my father's face. He was over 60. "Father, it's my fault. If I hadn't gone to Pyeongchang..." Then father squeezed my hand tight. "No, the system is at fault. I've been loyal to the system my whole life. But now I don't know what we've been protecting. Son-hee, you at least must survive. Escape this hell." I was shocked. Father, who'd been loyal to the party his whole life, was saying this. "Father, what do you mean?" Father spoke quietly. "Among my old subordinates, I know someone near the border. I'll ask him for help. You just prepare." That night, Mother and I talked for hours. Mother wept as she spoke. Our generation survived the Korean War and the arduous march. But I want you at least to live freely. When you reach South Korea, dance as much as you want. Live doing what you love. Preparations proceeded carefully. First, we needed money. At least 20,000 Chinese yuan to hire a broker. Over 10 million won in our currency, a huge sum. I sold the gold bracelet from my wedding, and the Swiss watch my husband bought me at the Jungmadang. My heart felt torn, but survival left no choice. Father connected me with a broker. Through an old subordinate in Musan, North Hamgyong Province, the broker was a Korean Chinese person. We spoke briefly by phone. "I'll contact you when the summer monsoon comes. The river swells then, so guards get lax." I marked my calendar and waited day by day. During those months, I walked all around Pyongyang. I wanted to capture my homeland in my eyes, maybe, for the last time. Dedong River banks, Moranbong Park, Kim Il-sung Square, where Mother held my hand as a child. Everything would become memories. I visited my grandparents' graves, too. Grandfather and grandmother died early and had tombs near Pyongyang. Prostrating before their graves, I wept for a long time. "Grandfather, grandmother, your granddaughter is going far away. I may never see you again in this life. Please forgive me." In early August 2023, the broker contacted me. "Move on the night before Liberation Day. Guards drink and get careless that day." 1 week away, my heart pounded wildly. The night before departure, we had our last family dinner. Mother carefully prepared the table. Kimchi stew with braised tofu and egg rolls I loved. We ate in silence. Speaking would bring tears. After eating, Father hugged me. "Sonny, just stay alive." "That's Father's only wish." Mother handed me a small bundle. "Here are some taffy and corn cakes. Eat them if you get hungry on the road." Brother silently patted my shoulder. That night, I looked around every corner of our home. The living room sofa, my bedroom bed, the Daedong River, visible from the balcony. Everything was the last time. Clutching my husband Kangmin's photo to my chest, I whispered, "Honey, I'm going to find freedom now. Please watch over me from heaven." The next morning at dawn, I left home with just a small backpack. Looking back, my parents waved from the window. I bowed my head in farewell, swallowing tears. "Father, Mother, I'll see you again alive. When unification comes, I'll return for you." At Pyongyang Station, I boarded a train to North Hamgyong Province. Scenery rushed past the window. Rice paddies, mountains, villages. Everything was goodbye. I departed toward freedom, prepared to die. On the night of August 14th, 2023, I arrived at a village near Musan. The location the broker designated was a dilapidated house near the river. I knocked on the door. A man in his 50s appeared. "You came from Pyongyang? Come in." Inside, 3 others waited besides me. A young couple and a child about 10 years old. We didn't ask each other's names. Revealing identities endangered everyone. But we comforted each other with our eyes. A silent promise. "Let's all cross alive." The broker spoke. "We depart tonight at midnight. I chose a rainy day. The patrol will be slightly looser. But never let your guard down. Even if you hear gunshots, keep going." My whole body froze. Around 11 p.m., rain actually began falling. Heavy summer monsoon drops. The broker distributed black vinyl raincoats. "Wear these. You'll be less visible to night vision goggles." I put on the vinyl coat with trembling hands. At midnight, we departed. After walking an hour through rain, the Tumen River appeared. The water rushed fiercely, swollen from monsoon rains. "We must cross that river. Deep parts reach your waist, so be careful." The broker's words made my legs shake. We crouched on the riverbank momentarily, hiding from patrols. Rainwater struck my face, cold yet sweat poured down. Age 37, not young anymore, taking this perilous path. "Kangmin, Mom, Dad, please help me," I prayed silently. "Now! Run!" At the broker's signal, we all rushed into the river. The water was far colder than expected. Stones beneath my feet were slippery. Each step forward threatened to topple me. Halfway across the river, it happened. "Stop! We'll shoot!" Patrol guards' shouts came from the North Korean bank. Flashlight beams swept toward us. "Keep going! You can't stop!" the broker yelled. Rat-tat-tat-tat! Gunfire rang out. Bullets sliced through the water. The couple beside me desperately swam, clutching their child. I frantically pushed forward, too. Even if I die, not here. Even if I die on Chinese soil. Then my vinyl coat snagged on barbed wire in the river. North Korea had strung barbed wire even underwater. I thrashed, tearing the coat loose. The wire scratched my arm and blood flowed, but no time to feel pain. Just a bit more, almost there. The broker's voice reached me. I pushed forward with my last strength. My feet touched ground. Chinese soil. The moment I climbed the riverbank, more gunfire erupted behind me. Reaching the top, the broker led us into a wooded area. We must hide here briefly. North Korean patrols sometimes crossed to the Chinese side. We crouched behind trees. Water dripped from our soaked clothes. Maybe an hour passed. The broker said, "It's okay now. Get up." I stood shakily. My legs had no strength at all. The young couple beside me hugged their child, crying, "Our daughter, she's alive. She's alive." Only then did my tears come too. Alive. I miraculously crossed the river alive. But fear outweighed joy. We were still too close to North Korea, and Chinese police could catch and repatriate us. From now on, we must move in hiding. Conserve words. If your accent isn't Joseonjok, you'll be exposed immediately. I nodded at the broker's words. I thought I'd gained freedom, but real freedom remained distant. That night, I looked up at the sky. The rain had stopped and stars appeared. Kangmin, Mom, Dad. I crossed the Tumen River. I think I can survive now. But one corner of my heart felt heavy. I missed the family left behind in the north so much. Though we'd reached Chinese soil, the real ordeal started then. The broker took us to a Korean-Chinese village on the outskirts of Yeonji. You must hide here about a month. Meanwhile, I'll prepare the route to South Korea. We hid at Grandmother Kim's house, a Korean-Chinese woman. The grandmother, over 70, shed tears upon seeing us. Oh, all this suffering. Same bloodline, yet you must hide like this. Grandmother cooked warm soup and rice. Our first proper meal in days. But we couldn't relax. Chinese police crackdowns were severe. Chinese people also faced punishment for hiding defectors, so we had to stay as quiet as possible. Days spent only inside our room, moving only at night, cautiously. One day, Grandmother brought a South Korean pastor. Pastor Park had helped defectors for over 20 years. "Don't worry, I'll safely send you to South Korea. God will be with you." Pastor Park taught us simple Chinese phrases. "Ni hao." Zizi, that level sufficed. He changed our hairstyles and clothing to look Joseonjok. I cut my long hair short, completely different from my appearance as a dancer in Pyongyang. A month later, departure day finally came. We'll take the train to Kunming, then cross into Laos. From Laos to Thailand, there's a South Korean embassy. Hearing Pastor Park's explanation, I worried about the long journey ahead. From Yeonji to Kunming took 3 days by train. Inside the train, I didn't speak a word. Couldn't speak Chinese. Pastor Park handled everything. Watching China's vast land unfold outside the window, I thought, the world is this wide, yet why did we live trapped in that narrow place? We waited another month in Kunming. Time to prepare Laos visas. During that period, I washed dishes at a Korean-Chinese restaurant. Working while hiding my identity wasn't easy. "Your accent sounds strange. Where are you from?" some people asked. I mumbled, "From the countryside." Then one day, the restaurant owner spoke to me carefully. "You're a defector, right? Don't worry. I came from the north 20 years ago, too." Turns out the owner was also a defector. I've lived here 20 years, but still no ID. In China, we're like ghosts. Go to South Korea. That's our real home. In October 2023, we finally departed for Laos. Pastor Park and I crossed the border by bus. Arriving in Vientiane, Laos, I breathed my first sigh of relief. Less crackdown than China. From Vientiane to Bangkok, we flew. My first time on a regular airplane. During the Pyeongchang Olympics, it was a North Korean charter flight. But this was a commercial airline. Clouds and earth seen from the sky. Beautiful. Under this sky, my parents are in the north, too, I thought, tears flowing. The day after arriving in Bangkok, Pastor Park took me to the South Korean embassy. "You've worked hard getting here. Now the South Korean government will help." At the embassy entrance, I hesitated a long time. If I really enter that door, can I go to South Korea? I gathered courage and opened the door. "I'm a defector. I want to go to South Korea." The consular official who heard me spoke warmly. "Welcome. You've worked so hard. Now you can go home." That moment I collapsed and wept. 3 months since leaving Pyongyang, passing several death-threatening moments, hiding, trembling in fear. All that time flashed past like a panorama, and now I could really go to the land of freedom. At the embassy, I spent about a week undergoing identity verification. Then I received my ticket to South Korea. November 21st, flight to Incheon. Unification Ministry staff will be waiting when you arrive at Incheon Airport. Boarding the plane, I looked back. Pastor Park waved. "Pastor, thank you so much," I shouted my farewell. Without Pastor Park, I couldn't have made it here. People who helped us, simply because we're the same ethnicity, because of faith. I'll never forget them for life. The plane took off. Bangkok's lights receded outside the window. I closed my eyes and prayed. Now I'm really going to find freedom. Mom and Dad in the north. My husband, Kang Min. Everyone, please watch over me. On November 21st, 2023, at 2 p.m., the plane landed at Incheon Airport. The moment the wheels touched the runway, my heart felt ready to burst. Finally here, the Republic of Korea. 5 years ago, during the Pyeongchang Olympics, I came under surveillance. But this time, I came as a free person. Exiting the airport gate, 2 Unification Ministry staff members waited. "You're Park Sun-hee, right? Welcome. You've worked so hard." Hearing those words, tears I'd been holding burst forth. Thank you so much. That welcome, you can't imagine how warm it sounded. From the airport, I went straight to Hanawon. Hanawon educates defectors to adapt to South Korean society. For 3 months, I learned about Korean society and received psychological counseling. At Hanawon, I could freely use the internet for the first time. I accessed YouTube and searched North Korea. Countless videos appeared. Defector testimonies, North Korean internal footage, Kim Jong-un related news. Among them, news about Kim Joo-ae being discussed as successor shocked me. Already trying to make his daughter the successor. That dictatorship continues again. The most impressive part of Hanawon education was human rights training. The teacher said, "You're all free now. You can say what you want to say. Go where you want to go. Do what you want to do." Hearing those words brought tears again. Freedom I'd never had in 38 years of life. After completing Hanawon 3 months later, I got a place in Hwasong-si, Gyeonggi Province. With government support funds, I could rent a small studio. The emotion of receiving my house keys for the first time. My home, no one's surveillance. No party permission needed for my own space. My first visit to a supermarket shocked me again. The abundance I saw in Pyeongchang 5 years ago existed here too. No, even more. 24-hour convenience stores, delivery apps, credit cards. Everything amazed me. The clerk saying, "Thank you," during checkout surprised me too. In the north, store employees treated customers rudely. Food tasted different too. North Korean food and South Korean food. Same ethnic cuisine, but slightly different flavors. Kimchi was sweeter. Stews were richer. But that wasn't bad. All our people's food. I started job hunting. My resume said Unhasu Orchestra. Dancer. Pyongyang University of Arts graduate. A dance academy in Hwasong-si offered me an assistant instructor position. "You did dance in North Korea? Good. I think you can show children something new." I began teaching children at the dance academy. Kids from 6 to 12 years old. They looked so bright and happy. Completely different from the Kochebi children in the north. These children didn't know hunger and could freely dream. But adaptation wasn't easy. People often asked, "Where are you from?" because of my different accent. At first, I tried hiding it. Now I speak proudly. I came from North Korea. Some people are curious. Some sympathize. Some are indifferent. Various reactions. That's also part of freedom. I started attending defector meetings too. Talking with people I met there brought much comfort. Everyone had similar pain. Families left in the north, guilt about dead people, adaptation difficulties. But we comforted each other and moved forward. At night, I often gaze at the northern sky. Beyond that sky, my parents live. My brother, too. Are they well? Did they face punishment, knowing I defected? Such thoughts tear my heart. Someday, when unification comes, I want to go home. Walk the Daedong River banks, climb Moranbong, bow at my parents' graves. I want to say at my husband Kang Min's tomb, "Honey, I found freedom. The freedom you dreamed of." These days, I started a YouTube channel. A channel where I share my experiences as a defector and reveal North Korea's reality. People in the North, don't be deceived by lies. South Korea isn't the hell you learned about. Here there's freedom, human rights, and hope. My dreams now are two things. First, seeing my parents in the North again. Whether unification happens or my parents defect, I want to meet them someday. Second, telling North Korean residents the truth. Kim Jong-un's luxurious life, privileged class corruption, people's suffering. I want to reveal all this to the world. I want to tell you all something. Freedom isn't free. I crossed the Tumen River, risking my life, and found freedom hiding for 3 months. That's why freedom is more precious. People living in the Republic of Korea don't take this freedom for granted. This is truly precious, and unification must happen. Why should the same people live such different lives? In the North, starving and oppressed. In the South, free and prosperous. How long must this inequality continue? I want to see unification in our generation. Even at this moment, countless people in North Korea are suffering, living in hunger, oppression, and fear. I want to deliver hope to them. There's a land of freedom. Don't give up. Someday we'll all meet freely. Today, too, I live with gratitude. Grateful I can breathe freely. Say what I want. Go where I want. This is the freedom I found risking my life.